Hello?
Hi, is this Theodora?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi, good. This is Matt in the State Attorney's Office.
Yes. Sorry, just trying to grab my charger.
Yeah, you're okay. Take your time.
Sorry, 1 second. Okay, hi.
Hi. Peggy asked me to give you a call.
Yes, so I just wanted to, because I had filed the appearance in lieu of Attorney Hillis, and she mentioned that she thought that he did a motion to withdraw or something, but she wasn't sure, so does that mean that he's not on anymore?
Technically, he is still on. However, I don't want to. Ultimately, decisions about representation are made by judges. They certainly should not be made by prosecutors. So you understand that whatever I tell you is just my understanding of the situation. But my understanding from speaking both with the judge and with Attorney Hillis is that he will be. Hey, good night. He will be removed, but the judge is going to want a motion to withdraw. He intends to file a motion to withdraw, and on March 4th, I expect a judge to grant the motion to withdraw, so he's formally removed. Obviously, I'm speaking to you. I understand that it's probably heading in that direction. I don't think you're being prejudiced in any way by the fact that it hasn't formally happened yet, but the judge is going to want that on the record, I expect.
Well, the part that prejudices is that March is 2 months away, and so I'd like to be able to speak to you since I have filed an appearance in lieu of him, which is.
And I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure because she was like, "Oh, we can't talk if you have Mr. Hillis." So.
You and I are talking, so I think that's taken care of. Now, I will say this: I do want to treat you like every other defendant, right? And I typically don't make a habit of speaking about cases over the phone. What our process here is we schedule court dates, and those are the dates that we speak, and I think it's probably best done that way. But I'm going to return your phone calls when you call, so it's not that I'm not speaking to you.
Well, one thing is I know very well that attorneys have off the record conversations with prosecutors all the time, and people who do not have an attorney also will. And so, for example, Matt, both of his cases, no attorney, spoke directly to the prosecutor, didn't even have to go to court most of the time. And there's been many times with Attorney Hillis where he tells me, don't even go to court. I'll just text the prosecutor. I'll just talk to her. Okay. So it's like, if the person has no lawyer, it should be like, I should be treated as if I'm an attorney that you're talking to that's representing myself. And that's what a pro se person technically is. And so I just want to be able to treat me the same as you would treat me if I was Mr. Hillis, where you would talk to him on the phone, or maybe we can make an appointment. Can I come to talk to you in person?
I'm doing that. Yes.
Yeah, and I know it's after 5 right now and stuff, so I didn't know if maybe.
No. I'm speaking to you, and I'm not cutting you off in any way. And you and I are going to have a conversation. Can I make the point that it is a little bit different? I understand your interest in being treated just like an attorney, and I'm certainly going to do that to an extent. However, there is an aspect of this that's a little bit different, right? Because you're also personally invested in a way that is different from a lot of conversations that I have with attorneys, right? And so I want to be mindful when we're speaking that you're also the person who is most personally affected by every decision that gets made, and it does make it so that it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah, and I spoke to somebody else who had recently gotten an arrest in Milford, and they said that they spoke to an attorney that said, oh, you won't even have to come to court on the arraignment. I'm going to get this dropped with the prosecutor because there's no probable cause. Then I see other cases like Matt's getting dropped for quoting on the record.
Yeah,
I know, but can I just finish? Can I just at least like finish my sentence? Can I at least like finish my sentence? Because I just don't want to be talked over. I don't like when people talk over me and try to like, just interrupt me.
I just want to jump. No, you got to let me jump in. Okay?
I know, but you don't even let me finish my sentence. Like I listen to you. Like I just.
Theodora, if we're going to do this, if we're going to do this, and you're going to make a point, you got to let me respond. Okay? You made a point about an attorney who made a comment to a client about you don't have to show up for arraignment. I'm going to get this dismissed. There's no probable cause. Theodora, I have been in this courthouse for the last 8 years. I have handled tens of thousands of arraignments. That has never happened. It has never happened.
Look, I'll give you the name of the person and the attorney if you don't believe me. I don't have a reason to make things up like this.
No. I believe that somebody said that. But if you are left with the impression that you are being treated differently than anyone else based on a story like that, it's unfair. I know attorneys say things to their clients all the time, but I should not be beholden to the story like that because it has never happened. I have handled tens of thousands of arraignments. Not once has there ever been a situation where a client has been told, you do not need to come to court because I'm going to get it thrown out because it lacks probable cause. It simply does not happen.
Okay, but at the same time, the prosecutor has a duty that if there's no probable cause, they can't continue to prosecute a case. And I've been telling you since day one that there was no probable cause for arrest, that I'm immune from that. I was a victim who was a protected party on a protective order, calling the police for help. In Officer Correa's statement, as well as in Matthew's sworn statement, they both state and the videos corroborate that he spoke to me outside that app multiple times that day. He was not charged with felony violation of protective order. Instead, I was signed for a warrant 2 weeks later. That warrant contained misinformation and things where I could prove to you literally in a period of 10 minutes if you sat down and talked to me and I showed...
The thing is, I have requested the video from the Orange Police Department, so I'm going to be able to watch everything. I got the impression on our last court date that this may be heading to a place where we're not going to come to a compromise. And so I wanted to get the video from the Orange Police Department, and I will review that. So the good thing is I'm going to be able to watch what happened there and kind of assess it.
Yeah, and also under oath, under penalty of perjury, Matthew Lodi said that he received a phone call from Officer Correa saying that they were sick and tired of me calling the police, reporting him violating the order, that they were going to maliciously have me arrested out of retaliation. Officer Correa, in a previous police report, which I can provide you, wrote in his report that he was not going to tell somebody to stop harassing me. He's shown nothing but bias towards me and retaliation and harassment. I have all of this stuff documented. He's also shown excessive force and been investigated for shooting people. He's shown like bias against me through that thing. What Matthew stated on the record is also crucial evidence because he claimed that this conversation happened. When I contacted Orange PD over the summer to request that recorded call, they claimed that they didn't have it. They won't give me reports. They won't give me videos. They're hiding and deleting and doing shady things with the evidence. And so that's why I put in that other request, because I said to Attorney Hillis that you had given me, and I didn't even I didn't even look at the video from Milford yet because, again, the Milford case is completely wrong. I did not violate anything. I did not violate the protective order. There's lack of probable cause. They legally detained me for over an hour, and then they read me my rights. And all the statements there were all made prior to that. I can give you a whole entire brief showing case law of what the Supreme Court states as being arrested means. And I'd like to have an opportunity to just speak to you, show you a smart, educated, organized argument that there's a lack of probable cause. There's holes in the case that this can't sustain a trial, and the protective order needs to be vacated. And I can also show you examples of case law in our state of criminal cases where the people were not given protective orders for custodial interference, for other charges. That why was a charge of disorderly conduct and false statement to police given a full no contact protective order? You stated that you couldn't meet your burden, then you can't meet your burden to say that this needs to be on. Matt talks to me every single day and harasses me on calls, like literally harasses me and tells me to talk to him and not be a child. And then he wants to say he's a victim. I was the victim. I called the police. The police are supposed to have a duty to protect me. So I think that you are just trying to do your job, and I understand that, and I just want to be treated that, like, look, if you know a case is bogus and that you can't uphold it, why are you going to continue to make somebody suffer when you have the power to say, hey, we recommend that she wants it dismissed, we're not going to object? That's all you have to say. So I don't understand why you would at least like to have a time to talk to you more and show you this stuff I'm saying.
I'm happy to give you that time.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I mentioned this earlier. This is a different dynamic than the typical conversation that I have with an attorney, right? I think that your approach, though I totally understand where you're coming from, is just different than I typically have with an attorney. I will absolutely be happy to sit down and meet with you. I need you to understand that there are lots of different things that I need to consider. I believe, based on all the information that I've reviewed, that there is the bare minimum standard of probable cause, and I certainly believe, based on what I've read, I have not watched any videos. You were there, I wasn't, so I'm at a disadvantage. I believe that the Orange case, at a minimum, is provable. Now, I do not believe, and I will tell you this directly, that the goal of this prosecution for me or my office needs to be that you are convicted of a criminal offense. I will have the same conversation with you that I have with lawyers every single day about dozens of different cases. We have in the state of Connecticut many different options that people can
I know, but listen,
I
know this is not this. I'm sure you can see my record. I'm sure you can see my record. You know this is not my first time being arrested. You know I've been arrested like more than 20 times. Okay, you know that I'm not a candidate for AR or any of that stuff. You know that I'm a lawsuit. You know that I'm please though. You know that I'm a law student. You also may not know this, but I'm also a notary public. I'm also a notary public, and this is stopping me from being able to pass a background check. I can't pass a background check and work. You're stopping me.
My reluctance to meet with you is because I feel like it's not a productive conversation. So let me finish, please. You are eligible for the supervised diversionary program. It is a program that is eligible, that even if you had a record of criminal,
I know, but I'm not going to say yes to that because, listen, what you said before, you said you think Orange case has probable cause, but then you also told me you haven't seen the video. The fact of the loan that it says on the protective order that I tell you over the phone, I told you that I haven't seen the video.
Okay,
so that's why.
What can you do then? Give me the opportunity to get that video from Orange and watch it.
No, that I want you to do that, and I was also planning to type something up and put all my thoughts on writing and file it as a motion.
You have provided me with so much to review. You do realize I have thousands of cases, right?
Yeah, and I feel like this case, it can easily be proven that there was no probable cause for arrest if you were to just give me 10 minutes of your time, 15 minutes of your time.
I have an obligation to all of the thousands of defendants just as much as I have an obligation to you. If you give me stacks of paper to read every week, I promise you I do not have enough time to go through everything in the way that you would like me to.
Well, I could give you something that's short and concise, and maybe we could then make a meeting to...
I'm not assigning you any work. I am telling you this. I will review the video. If I review the video and I do not believe that there's probable cause, I can assure you that I will not continue this prosecution. The problem that we're going to have is if we don't see eye to eye. Because I have a feeling if I do not agree with you, that we're not going to be able to compromise about anything else, right?
No, I think you'll agree with me. I'm 1,000% certain that if I properly articulate to you and show you my case, you will 1,000% say, okay, I agree with you. And that's what I'd like to, before you start saying anything about offers.
That video, and it has not arrived here yet. I have
requested it. And the video, for the record too, keep in mind that I was on hold with the police for a period of time, which I can prove through phone records. You can't record while you're on the phone at the same time. That's why now I carry multiple phones. But that day, I was on the phone on hold with the police because, again, they had me wait on hold for like 10, 15 minutes. And so just because something's not on video does not mean it did not happen. If somebody only shows you parts of the video, Matthew Lodi photoshops things and has shown fake Photoshop things. So unless it's authenticated, unless we can show that it's legitimate, I could assume it's not. And so I just want to make sure that I'm being heard.
You again, not my goal. It is not my goal to take this case to trial. It would be my goal that you apply for the supervised diversionary program.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that because I don't need that. I did nothing wrong. It would be one thing if I committed a crime, and if I committed a crime, I would take responsibility for my mistake. I didn't commit a crime. What does a victim do? If the protective order is violated and the victim calls the police and the victim gets arrested, and Correa wrote on his thing, he wrote that the victim was Matthew. On the thing it asks, is there a protective order? Who's the victim? Who's the assaultant? They put him as the victim. That was a mistake right then and there. So I was going to do a motion to strike. I'm going to do a motion to strike a lot of this stuff, and that's why I was just trying to say, instead of wasting everybody's time, let's just at least give me a chance to hear me out.
That's
so.
Not how, can I make this point?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't every single criminal defendant in this courthouse ask the same thing of me? Why wouldn't every single criminal defendant in this courthouse call me up and say, "You're wasting everybody's time, drop my case"?
Because a lot of those people are criminals. A lot of those people commit crimes and they deserve to be there. Because I'm not one of them. And this is stopping me from being able to work. I have marks on my background check now where I've been turned down as a notary that has to pass compliance and background checks. This is hurting me financially. This is hurting me. The protective order is keeping me and being exploited to keep me from my child. Another thing that it's undeserved. So these are just things that I'm saying that, think about it for me. I'm a human being. I have constitutional rights. I have constitutional rights as a defendant. And so I want to feel that my constitutional rights as the defendant here, which are more superior than the victim's rights by far, are not being trampled on because of a mistake or an error or whatever. And I can prove this. I can prove to you that there's no probable cause. I know I don't have to. I know I don't have to, but I want to, because if I prove it to you and you agree with me and we're on the same page, we don't have to go further then. And most other defendants aren't law students either. How many defendants have you ever had in your 7 years that was a law student? I bet you I'm your first.
I'm going to end the conversation in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
What you've suggested to me is that the video that I'm going to get from the Orange Police Department is somehow going to be photoshopped. Am I correct?
No, I'm saying that I don't know whose video this is. I know I submitted videos to him, Officer Correa. Yeah. Officer Correa said he got videos in his report from me and from Matthew. The videos from me, I explained to him in the email, which I can forward you. I say in the email, from this minute to this minute, that was when I was on call with Orange PD. This video starts the second that this one ends. I sent him every single thing. I did not edit anything like he asked me. I would like to see.
If it shows you by or in Matthew's truck, is that accurate or inaccurate?
I did not touch his truck at all. If I'm standing there on the property of my church where I have every right to be there, I didn't break any laws. Matthew had a protective order. Do you understand that the protective order says the protected party?
You're not expected. Either if you're going to do this with me.
Why do you keep dodging that? No, that's the main thing. If somebody is the protected party and they call the police to report a violation, they show the police a video evidence of said violation, and then that person is not arrested. Instead, the victim gets arrested for allegedly making a false statement when I never lied. I can prove to you I never lied in anything I wrote in that statement at all. And I can prove to you I did not do disorderly conduct.
This is why we don't have conversations like this. Because me asking you questions about where you were standing with the truck is not fair to you, okay? So you should not be on a phone call with the prosecutor. No, I
understand. I know my rights. I'm choosing to have a conversation with you because these are things I want you to consider.
But
hold on, I'm on the phone. Just give me a minute. Okay, give me a second. I'll be off the phone in a second.
I know it's not, but here's the thing. If let's say that my wife had a protective order so that I was not allowed to have any contact with her whatsoever, right? If she broke into my house and I asked her to leave, did I violate the protective order?
If you speak to her, yes.
She breaks into my house and I ask her to leave. Is that a violation of protective order?
Nope. If you speak to her and it's a full no contact, it is a violation. If you speak to her and
she has broken into my house. I was asleep. She breaks into my house.
According to the law, if there's the only thing there has to be is the order was there and the accused violated it. That's it. They had the order, and it's been violated any term of it. So if you violate the no contact, that's why that you guys have arrests of accidental ones where people accidentally butt dial someone and gets arrested. So if that's the case, are we going to say it's discretionary now? Because it's not.
I can speak to you as a prosecutor who has reviewed thousands of violation of protective order warrants. Under absolutely no circumstances would I or any other prosecutor sign a warrant in a situation in which the protected person has broken into the home of the person who must abide by a protective order, and that person has responded by making contact. That's obviously not what happened in your case.
So you're telling me that there's exceptions. So are there exceptions to no contact? Because you don't have to speak to the person.
End the phone call, Theodore,
I know, but I disagree. I disagree with you. I just feel that that's not what the case law in our state says.
I don't need to have a discussion with you about what you agree and disagree with. What I'm telling you is a fact. I have never signed a protective order that way, nor would anyone be convicted that way. And so your case is different. Your case is distinguishable. You're going to tell me, but of course I didn't break into his house. And you didn't. That's why it was hypothetical. But if you were impeding his ability to get back into his truck,
I wasn't. And can I tell you? I can prove with my video. Oh, listen, please. One thing I want to say to that. I can prove with my video that I did not impede his ability, because not only did he stand there and continuously berate me, but then he walked right by me and went into the car. Right on the video, you see him walking right by me. And everything Coria says in his thing is a lie. He goes, oh, she never once mentioned about the address. The only reason that I tried to write something on a paper was because he canceled the Our Family Wizard app that he was court ordered to pay for, and that was his only means of communication on the protective order. And it says on the order the protected party could never be charged if somebody violates the order, even if they make them violate it, even if they beg them to violate it. They can never be charged. It says that on the order. I was the protected party. I was the victim. I called for help. The police said to me, he's allowed to violate the order if he wants. He can talk to me as much as he wants. You're going to tell me that that was correct? It's not. This whole case is a mess, a disaster. I'd really like to meet with you. I know it's late and I have to go, and you do too. So maybe I can review what I have. Maybe I'll send you an email. I just wish I could write it up for you. A short thing. I don't want you to have to leave.
I encourage you, not for any reason other than you do not need to write anything up.
I know, but I want to, because I want to finish this.
I'm going to watch that video when it comes in. If the video depicts a situation that is in conflict with the sworn written statement that you gave, then I would say that there is a reason to continue the prosecution.
And let's say that you only have one video and you don't have all the videos. Does that change it?
Well, but how
if you only have his version? Yeah.
Is in conflict. But there's not multiple versions of a video, right?
No, there is. There was, because even Coria said it. He said he received videos from Matthew and from myself. And like I said, if I send you a video that's a video where, it's only showing what happened for these certain minutes, but then something else happened when you weren't recording, just because it's not on that one video, that video did not show everything from every angle, from the whole place, from the whole time. And he even says that he tried to get the church's video and it mysteriously was not recording. So that right there, and it was illegally obtained evidence. He never even told me he was recording. He says he had a body cam. You have a secret body cam. Where's the secret body cam? And how do we know that's legitimate? Because that video did not come from the church. And there's all different angles. You're going to say that you can't say just because something's not on video doesn't mean it didn't happen. And that's a fact. But like I said, I'd like to speak to you again. I appreciate you calling me.
Look, I'm not closing the opportunity for us to discuss this. I want to be as direct with you as possible. My goal here is not to convict you of a crime. My goal here is for you to consider a different path. However, if at any point in this process I believe that either of these cases lack probable cause, then I, of course, have an obligation to drop them. At this point, I have not seen a reason to believe that either of the cases lack probable cause, and I will review all video that comes my way.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. What were you saying, Juliana?